The noble lady of the capital did not know that I had been reborn, as in my previous life. She offered an exorbitant breakup fee to force me to divorce, but I no longer clung desperately as I did in my previous life. Instead, I accepted the check without hesitation, quickly signing the divorce agreement. Only because in my previous life, to chase after a poor student, Su Wanyi had repeatedly raised her price to make me leave, but I stubbornly refused. With just one sentence, I rejected a lifelong promise, not willing to miss even a minute or a second. In the end, her first love left the country in heartbreak, but met with a plane crash, his body never found. Having lost her love, to avenge her first love, Su Wanyi spared no effort to bankrupt my family, forcing my parents to take their own lives. As for me, I was tormented by Su Wanyi for an entire year, my life reaching its end. Heavy snow buried my body. Before I completely lost consciousness, I saw Wang Haoran rise from the dead, holding Su Wanyi tightly, tears streaming down. Wanyi, I didn't die. That plane crashed into the sea. I was rescued. I've finally found you. At the same time, a cold, mechanical voice echoed in my mind. Shen Siyuan, Su Wanyi, and Wang Haoran are the destined male and female leads of this world. You are merely a villainous supporting character serving the plot, unable and unworthy to cling to what doesn't belong to you. Now, your storyline has entered its final phase. Countdown. 1987. It seemed only 10 seconds had passed, but it felt like an entire lifetime. When I opened my eyes again, I realized I had been reborn. At that moment, Su Wanyi's special assistant stood before me, expressionlessly pushing a bank card toward me. Mr. Shen, this is the third time I've come on behalf of President Su to meet you, to discuss terminating that contract of patronage. This time, President Su has offered a very generous price. As long as you let her go, you will receive 3 billion yuan. Hearing the assistant's incessant voice, my slightly dizzy mind gradually cleared. Thinking of that mechanical voice before my death, my entire body trembled. So, I had returned to 3 years ago. The assistant, seeing my dazed expression, was prepared for me to refuse again. Bowing slightly, ready to gather the items on the table and leave. I hurriedly grabbed her hand. I agree. Hearing this response, the assistant's eyes widened in shock, her voice filled with astonishment. Have you truly thought this through? You agree to terminate the patronage contract and set President Su free? I neatly and decisively signed my name on the agreement document, then slipped the bank card into my pocket. After seeing the assistant off, my trembling hands and tear-filled eyes urgently dialed my parents. Mom, Dad, please start the process. For permanent residency abroad now. Transfer all assets under your names overseas. I want to take you both away from here, never to return. Hearing my request, my parents were stunned. What's wrong, Siyuan? Has something happened? I didn't know how to explain my rebirth, but I was extremely anxious. I could only hastily find an excuse. Last night, I had a nightmare, dreaming that if we stayed in this country, our family would be ruined and we'd die without a place to be buried. My parents didn't understand and began to trunwa, but I was resolute about emigrating, even breaking into tears. My parents, who always doted on me, finally agreed. After hanging up the phone, I wiped away my tears. The heavy stone in my heart finally lifted. Until the next moment, Su Wanyi, who had been absent for so long, pushed the door open. Seeing my tear-streaked face, her expression grew cold. You still haven't signed? I was wrong to want to end the contract, but 3 billion is enough compensation. What more are you dissatisfied with? Hearing Su Wanyi's resolute tone, I was slightly stunned. At this moment, I realized the assistant hadn't yet informed Su Wanyi that I had agreed to terminate the patronage contract. So, Su Wanyi assumed I hadn't signed. I was about to explain, but Su Wanyi gave me no chance to speak. She frowned, pulling me straight outside. Come with me now. After a high-speed drive, the car stopped outside a hospital. I was dragged to the emergency ward and heard the doctor's serious voice. Miss Su, the kidney transplant surgery for Mr. Wang can begin immediately. Only then did I recall. In my previous life, I had indeed been in a car accident. My kidney was ruptured, and I underwent surgery. During that time, Su Wanyi never returned once. So, I still remembered clearly, but this had nothing to do with me. Su Wanyi, why did you bring me here? At that moment, I suddenly realized you brought me here to make me donate a kidney to Wang Haoran. Su Wanyi glanced at me, her voice cold. Not you, me. I was even more shocked. Su Wanyi raised her eyes, looking at the frail figure in the operating room. Haoran's kidney was ruptured due to a car accident. My test results were a match, though I had resolved to leave. Hearing that Su Wanyi would go this far for Wang Haoran, my heart still ached. Do you love him that much? Yes. That's why I brought you here. Under my watch, you're not allowed to do anything to harm Haoran during this critical moment. With that, Su Wanyi ordered the bodyguards to hold me, changed her clothes, and walked into the operating room alone. The red light came on, and the surgery began. I sat numbly on a chair, my heart throbbing with pain. A few nurses passed by, chatting. This recent hit drama, the supporting male character is just too hateful. He deserves to go bankrupt and lose his mind. Doesn't he know the male and female leads are destined to be together? I listened quietly, a faint smile on my lips, the smile at the corner of my mouth bitter and lonely. Indeed, The male and female leads are destined to be together. So, in this reborn life, I, the villainous supporting character, must live a life that belongs to me. This role of the wicked supporting male, I am done playing it. This storyline, I am not playing along anymore. After a long while, seeing the operating room light turn off, I stood up to leave, but was stopped by the bodyguards. President Su said, "You're not allowed to leave a single step until she wakes up." I had no choice but to sit back down and wait. Time ticked by, minute by second. Suddenly, a sharp pain surged in my stomach, my face contorted, beads of sweat the size of beans rolled down my forehead. I knew my old gastritis was flaring up again. My lips pale and dry, I weakly negotiated with the bodyguards. "I am not feeling well. Could you get me some gastritis medicine? Or a cup of hot water?" The bodyguards looked impassively at my pained expression, their attitude firm. "No. Mr. Shen, no matter what issue you're facing, we cannot leave this spot. This is President Su's order." For Wang Haoran, they could disregard whether I lived or died. Each word pressed heavily on my heart, making it nearly impossible to breathe. The pain was so intense I couldn't sit, and I collapsed onto the floor. I could only clench my lips to endure, my consciousness growing increasingly blurry. When I opened my eyes again, I touched the cold floor. Seeing I was awake, the bodyguards routinely informed me, "President Su has woken up. Mr. Shen, you may leave now." My entire body, inside and out, felt exhausted, my clothes soaked with sweat, clinging to my skin. A chill spread through me. I struggled to stand, dragging my weary body to the outside of the hospital room. Then I heard Wang Haoran's magnetic voice. "Wanyi, why do you look so ill? You seem so frail." "Oh, right. Have you found the kind person who donated the kidney for me? I want to thank them in person. Without them, I might not have woken up." Su Wanyi's hand holding the spoon froze, then quickly returned to normal. She blew on the porridge to cool it, gently feeding it to Wang Haoran, her voice incredibly tender. "It's fine. You were in the operating room, between life and death. I was just too nervous, so my complexion is bad. The kidney donor has passed away. I'll express gratitude to their family on your behalf. Don't worry, I've handled everything." Hearing this, Wang Haoran was deeply moved, suddenly pulling Su Wanyi into his arms. Perhaps pressing on Su Wanyi's wound, her face turned pale with pain. But she still tried to stay calm and continued feeding the porridge. Wang Haoran didn't notice, continuing to nestle in Su Wanyi's arms, his eyes teary as he said, "Oh right, didn't the bodyguard just say Siyuan had gastritis? So painful he fainted? Aren't you going to check on him?" The moment my name was mentioned, Su Wanyi's expression immediately darkened. 8 out of 10, it's just him faking illness. A pity ploy. No need to care about him. Through the window, I listened quietly, my chest filled with bitterness and suffocation. Between me and Su Wanyi, I took 100 steps forward, but Su Wanyi would rather retreat 100 steps, unwilling to stay by my side. But between Su Wanyi and Wang Haoran didn't need to take a single step, and Su Wanyi was already by his side, entrusting her entire self to him. Su Wanyi loved Wang Haoran to the point of donating a kidney, but she didn't let Wang Haoran know, fearing he would feel heartbroken or guilty. I finally understood how vast the difference is between love and lack of love. The people in the room didn't know. I was outside. Wang Haoran took a few sips of porridge and didn't want more. "This porridge isn't good, too greasy. Do you remember the porridge shop by our university? I used to go there every morning. It's been a while since I had it, and I kinda miss it." Seeing the nostalgic look on Wang Haoran's face, Su Wanyi immediately put down the bowl, stood up, and grabbed the car keys. "I'll go buy it for you." "No need for something this small. Just send someone else." Su Wanyi shook her head, helped Wang Haoran lie down, and tucked him in. "As long as it's something related to you, the places you've been, the food you've eaten, the scenery you've seen, I want to experience it myself. Wait for me, I'll be right back." With that, Su Wanyi pushed the door open, coming face to face with me. The smile on her face instantly froze, then returned to her usual cold, distant demeanor. "What are you doing here? Trying to make things difficult for Haoran again?" Seeing Su Wanyi's expression change so quickly, and my fingertips trembled. "I came to tell you, from now on, I won't make things difficult for Wang Haoran. You can rest assured." To my words, Su Wanyi always maintained a skeptical attitude, and this time was no exception. "If you want me to rest assured, then terminate the contract between us and set me free." With that, Su Wanyi turned and walked away, but she didn't hear my murmured words. "Su Wanyi, I've already set you completely free." After returning home, I immediately began packing my things. Everything related to Su Wanyi, I threw away, cleaning thoroughly and completely. That day when Su Wanyi returned, she noticed something unusual as soon as she entered. Looking around, "Where's your stuff?" "I threw it away," I said honestly to Su Wanyi. Su Wanyi glanced at me, her eyes slightly narrowing. "I was only gone for a few days, and you've pulled this little stunt? I only threw away the things I bought. I didn't touch a single thing of yours. Besides, you rarely use them anyway, so I threw them out." Hearing my explanation, Su Wanyi thought I was complaining about her not coming home these past few days. Reaching the contract, she slightly furrowed her brow, her voice carrying a hint of coldness. "I told you early on, I don't want to follow that contract anymore. I don't want to stay by your side for life either. Think it through carefully and sign it. Hasn't the assistant told you yet?" My words were cut off halfway as Wang Haoran walked in. "Mr. Shen, Wanyi has been at the hospital taking care of me these past days, so she couldn't come back. If you're upset, blame me. Seeing Wang Haoran bowing in apology, Su Wanyi quickly frowned and helped him up. Hey Ren, he and I were only ever a transaction of benefits, no real feelings. You don't need to apologize. Hearing these words, my heart trembled. Indeed, in Su Wanyi's eyes, we were always just a monetary transaction, which is why she kept raising the price, wanting to leave. The one who offered true feelings from beginning to end was only me. I looked at Su Wanyi, her gaze deeply fixed on Wang Haoran. I suddenly turned and went back to my room. A moment later, the door was knocked. Wang Haoran brought in coffee, timidly looking at me. Mr. Shen, Wanyi is in a meeting. I made some coffee and prepared a portion for you too. I also wanted to talk with you a bit. In my previous life, I had refused outright, driving Wang Haoran out. Now, I had decided to leave. So when facing Wang Haoran, I didn't argue as I had before. My attitude was calm. What do you want to say? Wang Haoran nervously clenched his hands, holding the steaming coffee cup. I know you and Wanyi were childhood sweethearts, but love cannot be forced. You used a contract to bind her to you, and she always feels tormented. You can't get the love you want either. In the end, it's just mutual harm. Is this really the outcome you want to see? My eyes, with every word he spoke, grew increasingly complex. I stared at Wang Haoran, laughing without sound. What right do you have to say these things to me? I am just like you, deeply in love with Wanyi, so I don't want to see her tormented like this. She doesn't love you. Your existence keeps reminding her of the most failed and painful phase of her life. What she wants to escape is not just the prison of love you've built, but also that dark past. She's such a proud person, never showing her inner wounds to others, but she can't escape that shadow. So when facing you, her mood becomes so gloomy and subdued. Hearing this, I was stunned, for the first time realizing why Su Wanyi wanted to avoid being by my side like this. Indeed, I had accompanied Su Wanyi through her darkest 4 years. Witnessing Su Wanyi's most struggling moments, I thought those hardships we overcame together were the soil nurturing love. But for Su Wanyi, who wanted a fresh start, all of this was merely an unshakable nightmare, and Su Wanyi had shown her most vulnerable, hard-to-speak inner feelings to Wang Haoran. How could this not imply that I had never entered Su Wanyi's world? Endless bitterness surged like a tide over time, and the lingering attachments in my heart turned to cold ashes. I didn't want to show weakness in front of Wang Haoran, but I couldn't control the sorrowful emotions. I struggled to stand, intending to leave. Wang Haoran thought I was refusing to talk. Not wanting to miss this chance, he hurriedly chased after me to hold me back. Mr. Shen, I just wanted to say to you. Before he could finish, in his haste, Wang Haoran bumped into a shelf by the wall. Several vases immediately fell, hitting me. I groaned, collapsing to the ground. Covered in blood, my face pale, the intense pain tore at every nerve, so painful I could barely breathe. Wang Haoran was also frightened. Before he could react, he was startled by a dog suddenly rushing out to protect its owner. Having been bitten by a dog as a child, Wang Haoran, upon seeing this large golden dog, instinctively turned and ran. The dog chased relentlessly. In his panic, Wang Haoran twisted his ankle, falling straight down the stairs. His pain cry echoed through the villa. Su Wanyi, hearing the noise, rushed out. Seeing the scene, her pupils contracted, losing color. She rushed down, shielding Wang Haoran in her arms. Seeing the gruesome, terrifying wound on Wang Haoran's forehead, she was heartbroken to the extreme, lifting her tear-reddened face, staring at the dog on the stairs. A fire of rage burned in her chest. I also heard the pain cry, struggling to endure the pain and get up, wanting to see what had happened. But as soon as I stepped out, I heard Su Wanyi's furious, uncontrollable shout. Haoran just had surgery, his body is frail, and he's so afraid of dogs. Why did you? I never expected things to escalate like this. At this moment, the pain made it hard to breathe. I could only muster a weak voice from my throat, trying to explain to Su Wanyi. He bumped into the vases first. Manman saw me injured and chased him. You know Manman is usually very gentle. It was just too scared of strangers. It was only worried about me. Enough. I don't want to hear these meaningless excuses anymore. If you can't control your dog, causing Haoran to be injured this badly, then have it put down to avoid trouble in the future. Su Wanyi completely ignored my explanation, directly calling the bodyguards to take the dog away. Seeing several burly men approach Manman immediately became alert. My whole body felt cold, instinctively wanting to shield Manman in my arms, begging them to spare it. The bodyguards showed no mercy, pressing me against the wall and going for the dog. Seeing this, Manman went wild, lunging forward. A bodyguard struck it with a baton. It was beaten until it was covered in blood, still barking frantically, trying to save me, but was grabbed by the leg and lifted by the bodyguards. Man struggled desperately to break free. The bodyguards couldn't control it. Their grip suddenly loosened, and in the next second, Manman fell from the second-floor hallway to the marble floor below. Seeing this scene, I completely broke down. Staggering downstairs, I held Manman, only to see its eyes gradually dim. In the end, it nuzzled my hand and closed its eyes. At that moment, I felt my heart shatter as I held its cooling body. Tears streaming as I looked at Su Wanyi, my voice filled with endless despair. You hate me, so just hate me. Why did you have to be so cruel, pushing Manman to its death? It clearly did nothing wrong. But at this moment, in Su Wanyi's heart, in her eyes, only Wang Haoran, who had fainted. She coldly glanced at me. It's true that it wasn't at fault, but all the blame lies with you. Do you think its death in your place means you can escape punishment? Let me tell you, I absolutely won't let Haoran suffer unjustly. With that, Su Wanyi called the bodyguards, giving them a few instructions. The sound of an ambulance grew closer. She paid no attention to anything else, carrying Wang Haoran and leaving. Manman's crippled leg lay in the palm of my hand. Watching Su Wanyi's retreating figure, I could no longer hold back, crying until my voice broke. Su Wanyi, back then, when you were chased by creditors and cornered in an alley, Manman, to save you, was beaten and tortured by those people until its leg broke, which is why it became so afraid of strangers. It loved you so much. When you were at your loneliest and most helpless, it stayed by your side every day, going through countless long nights with you, waiting for you to come home each day. Why are you so cruel? My questions were like tears of blood, but Su Wanyi didn't stop. All that answered me was the cold voice of the bodyguard. Mr. Shen, President Su said, that you raise a dog that caused harm, and you need to cool off in the cold storage. With that, the bodyguard dragged me and threw me into the cold storage. I tightly held Manman's body, my bloodshot eyes empty, numb and cold. The chill hit my face, seeping into my very bones, damp and gloomy. I shivered from the cold. Frost formed on its body, its skin pale as snow. Time passed second by second. My heartbeat grew slower and slower, then I passed out. I don't know how long it was before I woke up, finding myself in the hospital. The doctor adjusted the IV drip, his voice heavy. How did you lock yourself in the cold storage? If you'd been found 2 minutes later, you would have frozen to death. Hearing the words frozen to death, that bone-chilling cold surged through my body again, as if it had never dissipated. I recalled my previous life. After being hit by Su Wanyi's car, my organs shattered, buried in snow and slowly freezing to death. Now, reborn, I nearly died the same way. So, as long as I loved Su Wanyi or got close to her, I would endlessly approach death, and everything I cared about would be dragged down with me, none of them meeting a good end. Thinking back to my previous life, to save my parents who were driven to suicide, and Manman, who was thrown to death before my eyes, my heart ached incessantly. My index finger dug into my palm, scratching until it bled. Amidst the sorrow, my parents' call came through. Dad and Mom have transferred all the domestic assets overseas, and the immigration procedures have been submitted. They'll be approved next week. Are you sure you really want to immigrate abroad? What about Su Wanyi? Didn't you love her so much? My voice was like a pool of dead water. In this life, I will never love Su Wanyi again. Just as I finished speaking, Su Wanyi pushed the door open, looking at me with a complex expression. Our eyes met in the air, and in that moment, I recoiled as if shocked by electricity. For so many years of knowing each other, in Su Wanyi's memory, I was like a tireless spinning top, revolving around her since childhood, shamelessly repeating that I loved her, always looking at her with burning, loving eyes. She was utterly disgusted, trying her hardest to drive me away, even hoping my passionate love could be transferred to someone else. But when I truly said I no longer loved her, when I truly began to avoid her, she wasn't as happy as she had imagined, but rather felt a bit irritated. She didn't know where this feeling came from, nor did she want to show it in front of me, so she maintained her usual cold, distant demeanor. You don't love me anymore, so why did you hurt Haoran? Why keep faking illness to get my attention? Why won't you sign that contract? The doctor said you were badly injured, but I see you're still quite healthy, with enough strength to put on a show in front of me. Facing Su Wanyi's mocking questions, I lowered my eyes, my hoarse voice filled with indescribable exhaustion. Every word I say is true. Not loving you is true. Being ill is true. And so is the contract you dream of. Just as I finished, a Shen family butler walked in. Young master, the wedding dress designs you asked the designer to create for President Su last month are finished. Would you like to review them for any changes? Su Wanyi sneered, taking the thick stack of documents and tearing them apart in front of me. Then, under the butler's shocked gaze, she turned and left, leaving behind one sentence. Since you don't understand what truth is, it'll teach you. I don't like any of these wedding dresses. With a bang, the door slammed shut. The butler looked at me helplessly. Young master, I'll immediately ask the designer to send new drafts. Hearing this, I shook my head slightly, calling the butler back. No need all the gifts and surprises I prepared for Su Wanyi before, cancel them all. They're no longer needed. After all, I am about to disappear from Su Wanyi's world, as long as I endure this final week. That afternoon, I was discharged and took Manman to the crematorium. The big dog that always stuck close to me, obedient to my every word, had become a box of ashes. I carried the box of ashes home, looking at its toys scattered on the sofa, staring blankly for a long time. Countless memories flooded back. I closed my eyes, tears slipping past my eyelashes, silently streaming down my face, dripping onto the floor. This time, Manman would never again obediently and gently lie in my arms, nuzzling my hand to comfort me. A few days later, I received an invitation to the wedding of 2 close friends in the circle. I tried to pull myself together, tidied up a bit, and attended the event. My friends, seeing my poor complexion, came over one by one to comfort me. Siyuan, lately Wanyi, has been taking Wang Haoran to visit his parents' graves, and even went back to his hometown to meet his poor parents. She must be infatuated with that jerk. Don't worry. Don't be sad. You have that binding contract. Wanyi definitely won't marry that poor guy. It's just a story of a penniless nobody, trying to climb to a higher branch, from head to toe. How does he compare to you? Wanyi is only intrigued for now. Once she's tired of him, she'll definitely choose you in the end. After all, you were the most important person. When she made her comeback, I knew they were defending me, but in this life, I understood that Su Wanyi's love for Wang Haoran was an unyielding wall of iron and steel. I no longer wanted to crash into that southern wall, nor did I want my friends to suffer for my sake, so I told them my current thoughts very seriously. The contract between me and Su Wanyi has been terminated. Who she loves or marries in the future has nothing to do with me anymore. You all should stop talking about Wang Haoran too. He's Wanyi's destined male lead, and no one can change that. My friends didn't believe me, their eyes widening in unison. You've loved her for nearly 20 years. Are you really letting go? Losing to a man like Wang Haoran? Are you truly okay with that? Haoran is great, better than any of you, 1,000, 10,000 times better. He's sincere, kind, bright, cheerful, brave, and steadfast. He's the only man I've ever liked, and will love deeply for the rest of my life. In contrast, those who talk about him behind his back, like you all, are like rats in the gutter, disgusting. Su Wanyi's cold voice came from behind. I turned toward the sound, seeing her arm in arm with Wang Haoran, then making a phone call. Immediately notify the project department to stop all cooperative projects with the Jiu, Shen, Fang, and Sheng families. Hearing this, everyone present paled, looking at her in shock. We didn't say anything. For a Wang Haoran, you'd cancel so many business partnerships? Why make such a big fuss? Su Wanyi raised her eyes, full of disgust, her voice chillingly cold. Haoran is my bottom line. Anyone who dares touch him will pay a price. Her gaze swept over everyone, finally landing on me, full of menace. I knew she was just killing the chicken to scare the monkey. I clenched my teeth, about to speak up for my friends. How do you have to do this? Su Wanyi's voice was terrifyingly cold. Anyone who speaks ill of Haoran will not have a good end. Having lived through my previous life, I knew Su Wanyi meant it. Right now, I couldn't confront her head-on, so I led my friends away. Soon, the wedding began. Even from a distance, I could see every gesture of Su Wanyi and Wang Haoran at the nearby table. She would wash the teapot in front of Wang Haoran, peel shrimp for him, and decline drinks on his behalf. Only in front of Wang Haoran did Su Wanyi shed her cold exterior, becoming so gentle and meticulous, patient and thoughtful. The heart I couldn't warm in over 10 years, melted like water before Wang Haoran, unimaginably tender. The wedding reached the final bouquet toss. Wang Haoran merely looked at the bride's bouquet with admiration. Su Wanyi pulled him into the crowd. I sat calmly in my seat, watching Su Wanyi snatch the bouquet from dozens of outstretched hands. After getting the bouquet, she adjusted her clothes, knelt on one knee, and solemnly presented it to Wang Haoran. No ring, not a proposal, but I knew. Su Wanyi was using this action in front of Wang Haoran and all the guests to silently declare that she, Su Wanyi, had chosen Wang Haoran and would only marry him in this life. In that moment, all eyes in the room turned to me, facing the pitying, sympathetic, mocking gazes. I raised my hand, leading the applause, sincerely hoping Su Wanyi would get her wish so I could fly far away. Smoothly. After the wedding ended, I prepared to go home, but ran into Su Wanyi downstairs. The moment our eyes met, I looked away, wanting to avoid her, but she called me back. About terminating the patronage contract, haven't you thought it through? Or are you dissatisfied with the price? How much money do you want? Just name it. Time and again, I had lost the desire to explain to her. I also want to ask you, in your eyes, are my feelings for you over these 10+ years? And I as a person, something that can be settled with money? I take your money, and in this life, we're done for good, never needing to interact again. Is that it? My words left Su Wanyi silent. She stared at me, complex, indescribable emotions gradually appearing in her eyes. She wanted to tell me, she only wanted to end this abnormal relationship, not to cut off contact with me. But seeing Wang Haoran come out from the restroom, the words on her lips were swallowed back. She only said one word, yes, but the meaning conveyed was entirely different. Hearing her confirm it with my own ears, my already numb heart still felt a bit heavy and gloomy, but I quickly adjusted my emotions, watching Su Wanyi take Wang Haoran's hand, their fingers tightly interlocked. I nodded slightly. I understand. Don't worry. I'll do as you wish. 5 days from now, you'll have everything you want. What's that about 5 days? Su Wanyi frowned, about to ask for clarification, but I had already turned and left. Hearing Wang Haoran say he was hungry, she quickly forgot my words. Back home, I finished sorting out the remaining assets, under my name, selling everything for cash. That night, it poured heavily. While I was packing my luggage, I heard urgent knocking at the door. I opened it to find Wang Haoran, soaked to the bone, crying and kneeling before me. Sir, today Wanyi fainted and was rushed to the emergency room, but because I am not her family, I couldn't sign the critical care consent form. I could only try to contact her aunt overseas, nearly causing her to miss the best treatment window. She's still in the ICU now. You know her parents are gone, and she has no close family by her side. I beg you, please terminate the contract. Set her free. I want to be her husband, not someone who, in a critical moment like this, can do nothing but watch her wait for death. Facing Wang Haoran's pleas, I recalled my previous life. At this time, Su Wanyi had also fallen seriously ill. Knowing what happened next, I immediately transferred her to the best private hospital, inviting all the medical experts in the city, and she avoided disaster. Afterward, I didn't even take off my coat, caring for her day and night without rest, exhausted to the point of collapse for days. But when Su Wanyi woke up, because I had yelled at Wang Haoran in the urgency, she angrily drove me out. So this time, I didn't bring suffering upon myself, pretending I knew nothing. Wang Haoran, an ordinary person with no background or connections, naturally couldn't. In such a critical moment, think clearly or leverage relationships to use effective treatment measures like I did. Su Wanyi would suffer more pain, but that was normal. After all, she was the female lead of this world, and her ending was sure to be safe. So I wasn't worried at all. Calmly saying to Wang Haoran, "Mr. Wang, do you like watching romantic dramas? In those shows, the beautiful, wealthy female lead, after falling for a poor guy, often has to go through many trials to achieve a happy ending. You and Su Wanyi are the same. But no matter what setbacks you face, even with a supporting character like me interfering, nothing can stop you from being together. So you don't need to worry about Su Wanyi's safety. You're her destined husband, and you'll grow old together. I won't create any more obstacles for you. What you want, I gave to Su Wanyi long ago. Please leave." Wang Haoran, in his extreme anxiety, looked at me with hollow eyes, completely unable to understand what I was saying. I didn't explain further, closing the door and returning to my room to rest. The rain fell all night. The next morning, I went downstairs and found Wang Haoran hadn't left, but had knelt in the courtyard all night. Wang Haoran's face was pale as paper, his entire body dazed and exhausted, swaying as if about to collapse. Seeing him in such a frail state, I was startled and moved to help him up. But as I reached out, Su Wanyi pushed me away. Su Wanyi was still in hospital clothes, her face devoid of color, but she tightly held Wang Haoran. She touched his burning forehead, then looked at me, her eyes instantly sharp and cold. "Shen Siyuan, Haoran has never wronged you. In such heavy rain, you let him kneel all night. How can your heart be so cruel?" Facing Su Wanyi's furious reproach, my hands clenched into fists, my voice filled with deep helplessness. "It has nothing to do with me. Last night, I told him to leave, but he knelt there for hours without a word. What a convenient nothing to do with you. Haoran is unconscious now, and no matter what excuse you make, and he can't argue back. But you know what you did, and so do I. So don't bother with half-true, half-false reasons. You'd better pray. Nothing happens to Haoran, or it'll make you pay." After her harsh scolding, Su Wanyi took Wang Haoran to the hospital. She also ordered someone to bring me along. The entire way, Su Wanyi's eyes never left the unconscious Wang Haoran, her eyes full of heartache, constantly urging the driver. The driver, sweating, his nerves stretched to the breaking point. As we rounded a corner, the driver floored the gas, not noticing the sports car suddenly appearing from behind. In the next second, the two cars collided head-on. I, sitting in the front passenger seat, took the brunt of the impact, my head slamming into the door, feeling my organs shift, the pain unbearable, so intense I could barely breathe. My consciousness faded in the pain and chaos. Before passing out, through the shattered window, I saw Su Wanyi helping the injured Wang Haoran leave. In my daze, I heard the ambulance siren, and the doctor's urgent voice, "This patient has arterial damage and needs immediate surgery. Otherwise, it could be life-threatening. Miss, are you sure you want to prioritize the patient with the high fever? He has no critical injuries, and delaying treatment won't be dangerous." Su Wanyi's voice came through the door, becoming the last sound I heard before losing consciousness. "I only care about Haoran being safe. No matter how Shen Siyuan is injured, save Haoran first. The life or death of others doesn't concern me." When I woke again, I saw my parents crying, their faces drenched. "Siyuan, the doctor said you almost didn't make it. We were so scared our hearts nearly stopped. Thank goodness you're okay." The joy of surviving surged in my heart, and I couldn't hold back my tears. The three of us hugged and cried for a long time, before my parents calmed down, gently wiping my tears. "You were so badly injured this time. Can we delay a month before going abroad?" Thinking back on everything since my rebirth, I was still shaken and shook my head firmly.
resolute not to delay.
Croissant. The rich cream flavor overwhelmed my taste buds. Chewing slowly, a subtle citrus scent lingered in my mouth. It's delicious. I set the croissant down, lowering my head. Large tears fell uncontrollably onto the table. Jiang Yuro seemed flustered. Siyuan, what's wrong? She gently comforted me, lightly patting my back. I used to have a dog named Manman. I tried to suppress my sobs, but tears kept falling in large drops. It was badly injured by someone. To protect me, it accidentally fell from the second floor. When I was still in China, every time I brought home a croissant, Manman would rest its head on my lap, staring at me with wide eyes as I ate. As I spoke, I suddenly laughed. You know what? Its drool sometimes soaked a large patch of my pants. Jiang Yuro gently stroked my back, softly comforting me. I understand the pain of losing a dog. I have no reason to make you forget everything. If you miss it, you can come to my house. I have a dog too, maybe. Hearing this, I hurriedly wiped my tears. Really? Thank you. Yuru. Jiang Yuru gently took my hand. It's true. It's a Bernese mountain dog, named Daodu. Hearing the name Daodu, I couldn't help but laugh. Who would have thought? A doctor who seems like a cold, lofty goddess like Dr. Jiang calls Daodu at home every day. Jiang Yura's fingertips wiped the tears from the corner of my eye. Her eyes sparkled with glimmers of light. Do you know why? At the wishing fountain, I suddenly called out to you. Seeing me shake my head, Jiang Yuro smiled gently at me. You were dressed casually, your eyes not lingering on me at all, just watching the people passing by on the street. I thought to myself, this person looks like a star from a black and white film, handsome, impossible to look away from. Hearing this, my heart pounded wildly, the sound of my heartbeat drowning out everything around me. That's why I came to talk to you, and realized it was you. It was my own little scheme, wanting to invite you to explore Rome with me, but then I got greedier. I hoped you could stay with me throughout this European vacation. Jiang Yura's delicate face drew closer. My mind suddenly went blank. My cheek felt cool. Jiang Yura's lips gently brushed my right cheek, lightly touching before pulling away. Sorry. Jiang Yuro smiled with a hint of guilt, but thankfully, you're not crying anymore. At the same time, at the largest amusement park in Song City, Su Wanyi held Wang Haoran's arm, looking at him helplessly. Wanyi, look! Wang Haoran's face lit up with a radiant smile, pointing ahead to a stuffed fox, taking pictures with tourists. Su Wanyi looked at him with an indulgent gaze, letting him pull her to take a photo with the mascot. Wanyi, look quick. Wang Haoran excitedly showed her the instant photo. Su Wanyi froze. In her mind, another person's image gradually overlapped with the current Wang Haoran. Back then, when Su Wanyi had just signed the contract, she reluctantly went to an amusement park for a date with me. I eagerly pulled her along, taking pictures with the park's cartoon characters. I joyfully showed her the instant photo, but she knocked it to the ground. Shen Siyuan, I didn't expect you to be so childish. Back then, Su Wanyi left only that cold remark and walked away. But later, she saw that photo in a frame. I held her hand, smiling brightly. She realized that after she left, I had bent down, picking up the dusty instant photo, treating it like a treasure. Su Wanyi's heart ached sharply. Wang Haoran beside her noticed her uneasy expression, quickly hugging her. Wanyi, what's wrong? Su Wanyi snapped out of her memories. Haoran, I am fine, just a bit hot. Seeing Su Wanyi had no major issues, Wang Haoran grinned mischievously, pointing to a haunted house in the distance called Ghost Villa. Wanyi, want to take on the challenge? Su Wanyi nodded, teasing, you're always up to no good. With that, she and Wang Haoran entered the Ghost Villa. Both disappeared into the darkness. Terrifying puppets and mechanisms jumped out before them. Su Wanyi screamed, throwing herself into Wang Haoran's arms, her entire body trembling. Wang Haoran gripped her clothes tightly, letting her press close as they moved forward. But he didn't notice. Su Wanyi's fingers slightly curling, her palms cold. Su Wanyi was trying to suppress the fear in her heart. After her parents jumped to their deaths while she slept, Su Wanyi developed a deep fear of darkness and the night. I knew her hidden trauma. Whenever night fell, I always lit a warm-colored lamp for her. I wasn't afraid of ghosts, but to empathize with her, I never went to haunted houses like this. If it were Shen Siyuan, he definitely wouldn't have taken her to a haunted house, would he? This thought suddenly crossed Su Wanyi's mind. Startled, she hurriedly let go of Wang Haoran's hand. Let's get out of here. Wang Haoran, quite frightened himself, nodded repeatedly. He waved at the surveillance camera, signaling the staff to lead them out. Wanyi, are you okay? Wang Haoran stood under the sunlight, looking worriedly at Su Wanyi's pale face. Su Wanyi shook her head, weakly replying, Haoran, I am fine. Don't worry about me. Wang Haoran pulled Su Wanyi to a seat at an outdoor cafe to let her rest for a bit. Wanyi, wait for me a moment. Wang Haoran ran to a nearby ice cream stand. A moment later, he handed Su Wanyi a chocolate ice cream. Wanyi, are you a bit heat-struck? Wang Haoran brought the ice cream to her lips, looking at her with concern. Su Wanyi reluctantly took it, eating slowly. In truth, since her family went bankrupt and her parents passed away, she worked tirelessly to pay off debts. By day, she waited tables at a restaurant. By night, she sold drinks at a bar. In extreme poverty and exhaustion, she often came home and collapsed into sleep, sometimes not eating or drinking all day. Over time, Su Wanyi developed a severe stomach condition. This was something only I knew, and because of it, I never let her touch any cold or raw food. At home, I always had warm, stomach-nourishing soup ready. If it were me, I would have snatched the ice cream from her hand and angrily warned him. At that moment, Wang Haoran touched her forehead, asking worriedly, "Are you feeling unwell? Wanyi, what's wrong?" Su Wanyi handed the ice cream back to Wang Haoran. "Sorry, Haoran, I really can't eat this." Wang Haoran frowned. "Wanyi, what's going on? Are you hiding something from me?" Seeing Wang Haoran's worried expression, she shook her head. How could Su Wanyi explain? And the darkest phase she wanted to escape most had left indelible marks on her body and soul, along with Siyuan, whom she tried so hard to break free from. He kept appearing in her mind, impossible to forget completely. Su Wanyi looked at Wang Haoran before her with guilt. "Haoran, I've made you unhappy." Wang Haoran shook his head repeatedly, covering Su Wanyi's mouth with his hand. "I am fine, Wanyi. We can come back another time." Su Wanyi's expression softened instantly. She hugged Wang Haoran tightly. "Haoran," Wang Haoran smiled. "If I'm not good to you, who else would be?" Before Su Wanyi's eyes, another figure appeared. She quickly pushed the image away. "Yes, besides Haoran, who else would treat me this well?" Su Wanyi used these words to try to calm her restless heart. That night, Wang Haoran turned off the light, and the two hugged each other to sleep. But Su Wanyi couldn't sleep peacefully. She kept dreaming of the Su family's bankruptcy, her parents jumping to their deaths while she slept. She sold the family villa, sold everything of value, rented a dilapidated room, shared with over a dozen people. She lived between the restaurant, the bar, and the rented room, developing a severe stomach condition. At night, she often woke up, disturbing her roommates, who cursed her in the foul-smelling room. She could only keep apologizing. The burden of debt weighed on her shoulders, making it hard to breathe. Su Wanyi thought those hellish days would never end. Until that day, at the bar, she was pulling a drunk rich young master causing trouble. His mind clouded by alcohol, he splashed liquor all over her. "What are you to dare touch me? A big shot with your filthy hands." Su Wanyi's hand, hanging by her side, clenched into a fist, but her expression remained submissive. Sorry. Please don't cause trouble in the bar." The young master, displeased, raised his hand to hit her, but a tall figure blocked him. "Try touching her and see." The young man suddenly exuded a striking aura. The rich young master froze. The young man waved, calling a few bodyguards to drag the young master out. Turning around, he draped a coat over her, his smile radiant and warm. "I've paid off all your debts. You don't have to live like this anymore." Back then, I stood against the colorful bar lights like a heroic warrior. "From now on, you're mine. You can't leave me for the rest of your life." Then came every moment she spent with me. She saw my love as a prison, desperately pushing me away. Then came Wang Haoran, applying for an assistant position. The moment Su Wanyi met Wang Haoran, she was puzzled by the inexplicable surge of emotions she felt for him, but couldn't find a reason. So, she attributed it to love at first sight. She recklessly loved Wang Haoran, willing to throw herself into fire for him, let alone donate a kidney to him. Everything seemed predestined, as they were endlessly drawn to each other. The hero who saved her in the darkness was gradually despised by her. She hated the deal I had set, hated my confining love, and hated me standing between her and Wang Haoran, preventing their love from flowing smoothly. In her dream, she seemed to float in midair, seeing everything clearly. She saw me in the hospital corridor, clutching my stomach in pain, begging for medicine from cold bodyguards to no avail, fainting pale on the cold tiles. She saw me, after hearing Wang Haoran's words, retreating and getting bloodied by falling vases, silently sitting in a corner. Manman rushed forward, causing Wang Haoran to back away repeatedly, accidentally twisting his ankle. She saw me holding Manman's cold body, thrown into cold storage by bodyguards. Frost formed in my hair, yet I still clung tightly to the small dog's body. She saw me patiently explain to Wang Haoran, then close the door and leave. Wang Haoran knelt outside all night, unknown to me, and I was scolded by her. I lay dying in a car accident, but she heartlessly left me behind, nearly costing me my life. Finally, she saw me standing on the plane stairs, turning away without lingering. Before leaving, my thin lips moved slightly, as if saying to someone far away, "Goodbye." Su Wanyi woke with a start, drenched in cold sweat. Her face was pale, sweat soaking her pajamas. Beside her, Wang Haoran was awakened by her, quickly turning on the bedside lamp. Wanyi, are you feeling unwell?" Wang Haoran looked at Su Wanyi, her face drained of color, full of panic. He hurriedly called for emergency help. Medical staff were checking Su Wanyi. She furrowed her brow, struggling to open her eyes, only to see Wang Haoran's tear-streaked face. For some reason, seeing her lover's worried face, Su Wanyi felt unease rise within her. No, Su Wanyi muttered. "Wanyi, what's wrong? Tell me quickly." Wang Haoran kept asking. Tears slid from his chin, falling onto Su Wanyi's face. A cold, mechanical voice echoed in Su Wanyi's mind. Warning! The female lead is about to deviate from the storyline. Enhanced control required. Enhanced control required. The glaring red light of the emergency room flashed before Su Wanyi's eyes. She felt dizzy. Female lead? Storyline control? Su Wanyi was pushed into the emergency room. The cold white doors separated her from Wang Haoran outside. She clearly saw Wang Haoran's worried face. Siyuan before losing consciousness completely. Su Wanyi whispered weakly, but her voice reached no one. A few hours later, Su Wanyi opened her eyes. Before her was the blinding hospital ceiling. Wanyi, Wang Haoran, standing by the bed, saw her open her eyes, rushing into her arms with emotion. Haoran. Su Wanyi weakly embraced the man, crying uncontrollably in her arms, gently comforting him. Wanyi, you're finally awake. Wang Haoran looked at Su Wanyi with deep concern. Haoran, I've made you worry. Su Wanyi's cold fingers wiped away Wang Haoran's tears. For some reason, looking at Wang Haoran before her, Su Wanyi felt an emptiness in her heart. Someone important seemed to have been forgotten by her, but she couldn't recall who. Su Wanyi felt a sharp pain between her brows. At this moment, she just wanted to be alone quietly. Haoran, don't worry about me anymore. Go home and rest. Wang Haoran was clearly stunned. For a moment, Wanyi, don't you want me by your side? Clearly, Su Wanyi was the one who clung to him most, loved being by his side the most. Haoran, I am fine. I just need to rest in the hospital for a bit. You stayed with me so long last night. If you ruin your health because of me, I'd feel heartbroken. Su Wanyi kept persuading, until she finally convinced Wang Haoran to leave. When Wang Haoran's figure disappeared outside the door, Su Wanyi suddenly threw herself onto the soft mattress of the private VIP ward. She closed her eyes, trying to recall the important person she seemed to have forgotten. Gradually, she sank into a dream. Sister Wanyi, before her, appeared a handsome young boy. He smiled at her, revealing a missing front tooth. So familiar. Su Wanyi tried to grab the boy's wrist, but grasped only air. Wanyi, a young man draped a shirt over her. I've paid off all your debts. You don't have to live like this anymore. Su Wanyi wanted to hold on to the young man to ask for clarity, but he vanished into thin air. Goodbye. Before Su Wanyi stood a tall man. His bangs fluttered in the breeze. Su Wanyi urgently wanted to embrace him, but he turned away without lingering, moving far from her. Siyuan. Su Wanyi suddenly opened her eyes, calling out loud. The bowl of porridge in Wang Haoran's hands fell to the floor, shattering and spilling hot porridge everywhere. Siyuan? Shen Siyuan? Wang Haoran looked at Su Wanyi in disbelief, stepping back a few paces. Haoran, be careful. Wang Haoran ignored the shards and hot porridge on the floor, covering his face and running out. Haoran. Su Wanyi hurriedly pulled the needle from her hand, chasing after him barefoot. Haoran. Su Wanyi grabbed Wang Haoran's waist. It's not like that. Haoran. Listen to me explain. Wang Haoran's eyes were red. Why? Tell me. It's not. Su Wanyi frantically wiped away Wang Haoran's streaming tears. It's not like that. Su Wanyi looked up in despair. She couldn't control herself from thinking of another man's silhouette. A cold, electronic voice echoed in Su Wanyi's mind again. Warning! Warning! Control failure! Control failure! The female lead has deviated from the storyline. The female lead has deviated from the storyline. At this moment, abroad, Jiang Yuro and I were on the streets of Rome under the night sky, dancing with the crowd. The bright moonlight illuminated our faces, adding a romantic, ambiguous air to the cool Roman night. Jiang Yuro's hand rested on mine. Our breaths gradually mingled. Do you know? Jiang Yuro looked at me, her sea-blue eyes growing more mysterious in the night. What? I only felt my cheeks burning, trying to avoid Jiang Yuro's gaze. This is the Castel Sant'Angelo. The fugitive princess and the down-and-out journalist, after exile and escape, discovered their feelings here, leaving an eternal kiss. Jiang Yuro's warm breath drew closer, warming my cheek. She gently lifted my chin, firmly making me meet her gaze. So, I couldn't help but face Jiang Yuro's affectionate eyes. In the moment, I wanted to sink into that sea, to gaze at the emotions beneath its color. As Jiang Yuro's warm lips neared mine, I suddenly pushed her away. Under her stunned gaze, my tears fell uncontrollably. I covered my face and fled like a coward abandoning the battlefield. I hid alone on a bench, under the shade of a roadside tree, grieving silently. I didn't know why. I couldn't face Jiang Yuro's feelings for me. Perhaps I still couldn't fully escape the shadow Su Wanyi left behind. Jiang Yuro quietly sat beside me. She said nothing. Silence flowed between us. Only the chirping of cicadas marked the passage of time. Sorry. After a long time, I spoke in a low voice. Jiang Yuro looked at the tear stains on my face. The one who should apologize is me. I was too hasty, scaring you. I shook my head repeatedly, looking at Jiang Yuro. There was no trace of anger in her, only deep concern. No, it's not that. I tried to suppress my sobs. I am the one who said I wanted to move on, but I am still the one trapped in the past. Jiang Yuro looked at the shy, yet brave boy facing himself before her, unable to hold back, asking, "Can I hug you?" Seeing me nod, she turned and embraced me. Unlike Su Wanyi's citrus perfume, Jiang Yuro's embrace carried a light grassy scent. What perfume do you use? I sniffed, asking sadly. Jiang Yuro chuckled. I am a doctor. I don't have a habit of wearing perfume. Is there a strange smell? No. It's very pleasant. I nestled into Jiang Yura's arms, surprised to find the grievances and frustrations accumulated in my heart over so long seemed to flow away with my tears. If you need a hug when you cry, I hope it's mine, Jiang Yuro said softly. It's okay if you can't move on yet, as long as you don't want to be trapped by the past anymore. I'll walk with you slowly to step out. I'll wait for you to accept me. I lifted my head from Jiang Yura's embrace, looking at her sharp jawline. Yuro, will you really stay with me? Will there ever be a day you leave me, no longer loving me? Jiang Yuro looked up at me, her high nose brushing my forehead, saying slowly, no, never. I stared at Jiang Yuro in a daze. In her eyes, a deep and steadfast, see, how long had it been since I heard someone earnestly promise me, saying they'd love me for life? My fingertips touched the space between Jiang Yuru's brows. Yuru, why are you so beautiful? Why are your eyes blue, like the sea? But I didn't say the second half. Jiang Yuru smiled. My mom is Chinese, my dad is from country F. My eyes and nose are like my dad's, the rest like my mom's. I smiled back. Then your parents must be very beautiful. If you meet them, they'll surely be delighted. My cheeks flushed hot again, quickly leaving Jiang Yuru's embrace. A person from country F? I don't understand. In China, only couples who have promised to spend their lives together would go to meet each other's parents. Jiang Yuro looked at my embarrassed appearance, gently smiling. I am not someone born and raised in country F. I grew up in China. It wasn't until I was 15 years old that my family moved to country F. She grasped my shoulders, looking straight into my eyes. So I know the meaning of meeting the parents. I stared blankly at the woman in front of me, my face burning red. Jiang Yuro, you're being too much. Meanwhile, back in the country, Wang Haoran pushed Su Wanyi out of the hospital. Between the two of them, it was extremely silent. Ever since the day Su Wanyi accidentally called my name, the relationship between the two fell into an awkward state. Initially, Wang Haoran was endlessly melancholic. Even though Su Wanyi kept apologizing and admitting fault, he still wouldn't forgive her. After that, the atmosphere between the two often dropped to freezing point. Not looking at each other, not saying anything, only silence. Wang Haoran pushed Su Wanyi back to the villa. As soon as they stepped through the door, Su Wanyi couldn't hold back the sharp pain in her heart. Here, there was no longer the little dog named Manman, nor was there Shen Siyuan full of smiles anymore. What pained her even more was, Manman was ordered to be killed by her. Shen Siyuan was also forced away by her. Wang Haoran suddenly spoke up, his tone unexpectedly cold. Wanyi, what are you thinking about? Su Wanyi shook her head, turning to smile at Wang Haoran. Nothing. It's just been a long time since I've been back, so I feel a bit nostalgic. Is that so? Wang Haoran's expression softened a little. He supported Su Wanyi, slowly going up to the second floor, placing her on the bed in the master bedroom. The decorations in the master bedroom were completely new. Wang Haoran had arranged some decorations she liked. Su Wanyi's gaze shifted to the flowers by the bedside. It turns out Haoran is like Shen Siyuan, also likes to place fresh flowers on the bedside table. Su Wanyi painfully closed her eyes. She was increasingly unable to control herself. From remembering Shen Siyuan, the things I once did for her flooded into her mind like a tide. The feeling of guilt and longing overflowed like a bursting dam. Every time she recalled, her heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. Su Wanyi picked up her phone to contact her special assistant, investigate which country Shen Siyuan immigrated to and where he is now. After hanging up the phone, she clutched the edge of the bed to stand up, walking to the desk, pulling open the drawer. This used to be filled with the love letters you wrote to me. I once threatened to throw them away or burn them, but I could never bear to. Wanyi, don't you want to look through? Even a little bit? Su Wanyi coldly interrupted my pleading, turning away and leaving. Now in the drawer were Wang Haoran's notebooks and some watches. Su Wanyi smiled bitterly, closing the drawer. Then she went to the wardrobe, gently opening the door. In the wardrobe, there were only a few scattered clothes, already hung full of clothes clearly not in my style. Suddenly, she immensely missed the dresses I personally designed. I always chose the best fabrics, designed the most comfortable styles, and arranged them by different colors, hanging neatly in the closet. But she never wore them, and even tore up the design sketches. Su Wanyi recalled my pale face with a bitter smile. Her heart felt like it was being hammered hard. She painfully knelt on the ground. Past images successively appeared in her mind. At that time, it seemed she was controlled by something. Madly in love with Wang Haoran, abusing Shen Siyuan. My wholehearted love was trampled by her without mercy. Siyuan, I am sorry. Siyuan, I am truly sorry. The phone ring suddenly sounded. Su Wanyi pressed the answer button. President SU, we have investigated the whereabouts of Mr. Shen. The whole family has immigrated to Europe, including the domestic businesses and assets. Su Wanyi's heart suddenly tightened. The assistant continued. Currently, Mr. Shen is vacationing in Rome. The photos taken by the detective have been sent to you. Su Wanyi hung up the phone, opened the photos. In the picture, I was smiling brightly. Beside me was a woman who seemed to be of mixed race, linking arms with me. Her heart surged with great discomfort and pain. She quickly looked through the photos. In the night, Jiang Yuro linked arms with me dancing. The two were pressed close together very intimately. Jiang Yuro kissed my cheek, hugging me tightly. The phone in Su Wanyi's hand fell to the floor. She sobbed in pain. In front of her, suddenly appeared a pair of feet in slippers. Wanyi, Wang Haoran picked up the phone, looked at the images on the screen. All were Shen Siyuan. Wang Haoran looked incredulously at Su Wanyi, kneeling on the ground sobbing. Have you fallen in love with Shen Siyuan? Speak. Wang Haoran knelt on the floor, shaking Su Wanyi's body. Su Wanyi's thin lips moved. After a long time, she slowly replied, Yes, I have fallen in love with Shen Siyuan. A few days later, I set off with Jiang Yuro to Cyprus. I heard that place has the clearest beaches. The two held hands strolling on the sandy beach. I heard this is where the goddess of love and beauty, Aphrodite, was born. Lovers who come here to pray, the goddess will grant them eternal, undying love. I looked into the distance. The rock shaped like the goddess eroded by sea waves. The form still remained. I couldn't help but believe Jiang Yuro's words. Is there really eternal love? Jiang Yuro quietly looked at me. Perhaps because eternal love is hard to obtain, that's why people come here to pray to the goddess of love. Siyuan, I can't promise you eternal, undying love, but I hope every moment in the present, the feelings for you are the most sincere. I looked deeply into the eyes hidden with love of Jiang Yuro, wanting to let myself sink down, drowning in this moment of gentleness. Our breaths intertwined, the heat escaping from our lips, vague and unclear. Jiang Yuro's eyelashes trembled. Siyuan, will you push me away again? Shen Siyuan heard the salve, familiar yet distant reproach. I startled, almost falling into the sea. Fortunately, Jiang Yuro caught me in time. Let her go. Su Wanyi clamped tightly on my wrist, making a gesture to pull me towards her, her eyes full of anger. Su Wanyi couldn't describe her emotions when seeing me intimate with another woman. You should let him go. Do you know all that you've done? How deeply you've hurt him? Jiang Yuro's face full of anger. Su Wanyi heard Jiang Yuro's words. Her hand loosened. Seeing this, Jiang Yuro quickly shielded me behind her. Su Wanyi saw this, only feeling extremely angry. The matter between him and me doesn't concern an outsider like you to interfere. What are you? A temporary girlfriend? Or not even a girlfriend? Su Wanyi's question startled Jiang Yuro. Even though her heart was already a mix of emotions, she still firmly shielded me behind her. Su Wanyi mocked. Do you know the relationship between me and him? He has loved me for 15 years. And you? Have you known each other for 2 months yet? Jiang Yuro lowered her head, her body slightly trembling. Su Wanyi thought Jiang Yuro had conceded, advancing a few more steps. If you're sensible, then get out of the way. Jiang Yuro finally exploded. She suddenly threw a punch, landing on Su Wanyi's lower jaw, hitting her off guard. Falling into the sea. Let me remind you, Jiang Yuro's eyes seemed to be on fire. I am the European boxing champion for many consecutive years, although that was when I was not yet adult, but dealing with you is more than enough. Jiang Yuro's fist slammed hard into Su Wanyi's face. Su Wanyi tried to block, but due to her weak body, along with the huge disparity in strength, in the end, she couldn't withstand it. Fresh blood covered Su Wanyi's face. Jiang Yuro shook off the blood droplets on her hand, coldly looking at Su Wanyi. Siyuan loved you for 15 years. What have you given him? Pain? Fear? Injuries or something else? Jiang Yuro grasped my hand, warning Su Wanyi lying in the sea. And you stay away from him. The figures of the two gradually disappeared into the distance. Su Wanyi lay helplessly in the seawater. The salty seawater washed away the blood on her face, seeping into her nasal cavity. Su Wanyi coughed violently and sat up, blankly looking into the distance. Why? She whispered helplessly. Her body was getting weaker and weaker, but the image of Shen Siyuan in her mind was becoming clearer and clearer. Some intense emotion gradually broke through the constraints, urging her to disregard everything, leaving Wang Haoran to come to this place. When she saw Shen Siyuan, whom she missed day and night, and the lips nearly touching of Jiang Yuro, she could no longer control her body. Could it be? Su Wanyi touched her chest, her heart pounding strongly in her chest. Could it be she has always loved Shen Siyuan? Su Wanyi recalled those two strange electronic sounds. Could it be that she and Wang Haoran are the female-led and male-led? And as the female lead, she fell in love with Shen Siyuan, meaning she deviated from the original plot? Su Wanyi lowered her eyes, suddenly laughed loudly. So everything, the bankruptcy of the SU group, the death of her parents, the inexplicable hatred for Shen Siyuan, the love at first sight with Wang Haoran, all just plot from someone's pen? That electronic sound rang in her head again. Female lead, you have realized the truth about the world you are living in. Please fulfill your duty as the female lead. Return to Wang Haoran's side. Otherwise, what? Su Wanyi narrowed her eyes with a cold smile. Otherwise, you will be erased. Like irreparable data, your body getting weaker day by day is also the result of the system's control. Su Wanyi laughed loudly. Haven't you bound me long enough, and you want to erase me? The system was silent for a moment. Su Wanyi, do you know why Shen Siyuan, who always refused to sign, suddenly signed? Su Wanyi was stunned for a moment, doubtfully asked, why was the first to realize the truth of the world? Not you, but Shen Siyuan? But he didn't fully realize it like you. He was just too obsessed with you, refusing to let go, leading to the plot deviating. The system continued to explain. At the plot node where he was supposed to leave, he didn't leave, leading to later, Wang Haoran going wrong into Shen Siyuan's plot track, heartbroken leaving to a distant place. You to avenge Wang Haoran, forced Shen's parents to commit suicide together. Shen Siyuan was also tortured to death by you. Su Wanyi's eyes reddened. Hearing the description of Shen Siyuan being tortured to death by her heart ached intensely. The system continued. Therefore, I told him the correct plot track, intending to repair the plot, but unexpectedly, you, the female lead, appeared deviated, and multiple repairs were ineffective. The system's voice full of helplessness. If you return to Wang Haoran's side, perhaps there is still a chance to repair. No, impossible. Su Wanyi's lips uttered fierce words. I will no longer be bound. I want to have my own life. Su Wanyi. That is impossible. The system coldly replied. When you were created as the female lead, you are not allowed to have independent thoughts. If you continue to act on your own, this world will continue to decline. Ultimately, you will also disappear. What about Siyuan? Su Wanyi was silent for a moment, suddenly asked. Shen Siyuan will become the new male lead, living the life he chooses. After hearing this, Su Wanyi breathed a sigh of relief. If that's the case, I even more so want return to Wang Haoran. I will continue to pursue my true emotions. Love, Shen Siyuan. The system saw that it couldn't persuade Su Wanyi, didn't say anything more. You have made an irreversible choice. Then, I will no longer appear. Leaving the final words, the system has gone offline. Siyuan. Su Wanyi clenched her fists hanging by her side. Since it's like this, I will confess my true feelings to you. Sitting in a small seaside bar, I guiltily looked at Jiang Yuro. I am sorry for dragging you into this. Jiang Yuro gently looked at me. Siyuan. This isn't your fault. Moreover, Jiang Yuro poured the deep red wine into my glass. Try the local wine. I raised the wine glass, gently clinked glasses with Jiang Yuro. Congratulations to Siyuan for taking the first steps towards a new life. Drinking the fragrant wine, Jiang Yuro's smile became even more alluring. Without you, I really wouldn't know what to do. I gratefully looked at Jiang Yuro. Until now, I didn't know you also knew boxing. You still don't know many things about me. Jiang Yuro smiled. If you want to understand me, then I would be truly happy. My cheeks flushed red, hastily averted my gaze. The decoration here is truly Mediterranean style. The ending tones suddenly trembled. Jiang Yuro stood up, gently kissed my lips. I am sorry. I wanted to complete that kiss. By the vow of the goddess of love. Jiang Yuro smiled and sat back in her seat. Her gaze still lingered on my lips, cheeks burning hot, heart pounding wildly in my chest. Jiang Yuro in front of me smiled so gently, seriously looking at me. Mr. Shen, can you be my boyfriend? I smiled and nodded. At this moment, I only followed the true call of my heart. Impossible. Su Wanyi, drenched, grabbed my wrist, causing me to startle and drop the wine glass to the ground. Jiang Yuro abruptly stood up, angrily looked at Su Wanyi. Let him go. But Su Wanyi still turned towards me. Siyuan, I know everything now. Me and Wang Haoran are just plot settings. Actually, the one I truly love forever is you. Jiang Yuro's angry eyes turned to surprise, then turned to pity for Su Wanyi. Are you crazy? Jiang Yuro grabbed the front of Su Wanyi's shirt. Su Wanyi still only looked at me. Siyuan, the system has told me everything. I am sorry. I will make it up to you. To the emotions I had for Wang Haoran before were just plot requirements. But actually, I love you too. In my eyes flashed a bit of contempt. Su Wanyi, why do you think I still love you? Su Wanyi stared at me. You left me because of the plot's constraints. Just now, the system told me that it will no longer appear. I shook my head. I left you only because I was in despair. After saying that, I walked to Jiang Yuro's side, grasped her hand. I loved you for 15 years, and you pushed me away for 15 years. Now I have a new life, have a new lover. You come running to make me continue loving you. Looking at Su Wanyi's bloodless pale face, on my face appeared a bit of sarcasm. Su Wanyi, I no longer love you. Please leave my life. Don't come back again. Seeing this, Jiang Yuro released Su Wanyi. Perhaps for him and you before, I was just an outsider. But now he has chosen me, stepped into my life. I can no longer stand by. This is the last time. I demand you leave. If you come to disturb our lives again, it won't end as simply as this. Jiang Yuro grasped my hand again, walked away side by side. Su Wanyi stood motionless in place. The tips of her fingers still lingered with my warmth, but could never step to my side again. It turns out that in the past, when she supported Wang Haoran to leave, leaving me lying in a pool of blood, my heart at that time was in such pain as this. Su Wanyi slowly knelt on the ground. Shards of broken glass pierced her knees, blood gushing out. As if feeling no pain, Su Wanyi only muttered to herself, even if everything I did was not from the heart, but the pain left for you was real. Tourists and staff in the bar looked at her in panic, but no matter how the waiter beside asked her, Su Wanyi still only blankly stared at the ground, dazed, saying nothing. The next destination we planned is Spain. Jiang Yuro stopped. I am afraid you no longer have the mood to continue the journey. I am sorry, Yuro. Shen Siyuan wore a guilty expression. I had promised you at the beginning to accompany you throughout the vacation. Jiang Yuro smiled. So, can I invite you to my home? Spend the remaining vacation with my family. Jiang Yuro gently grasped my hand. Siyuan, don't apologize. All these things are not. I hugged her, closed my eyes, gently smelled the faint grassy scent on her. It's just Jiang Yuro paused. Does that person have some mental issues? What plot? What system? I burst into laughter. Didn't explain. Jiang Yuro also laughed. If that lady needs, I can introduce her to a familiar neurologist. Yuro. My fingers covered Jiang Yuro's cheek. Jiang Yuro raised her head to look straight at me. If the world we are living in is really just novel plot from someone's pen, and all the plots are controlled by something else, would you still love me? The tips of my fingers trembled slightly. Jiang Yuro noticed my unease. Her warm palm covered my fingers. She smiled and rubbed against my palm. I don't know if the world we are living in is real or fake. The only thing I can confirm is, when I first saw you, I already liked you. Jiang Yuro looked up at me. When seeing you by the wishing lake in Rome, I chose to step closer to you. When seeing you shed tears in the cafe, I chose to hug you. When dancing with you at the Castle of Angels, I chose to confess my feelings to you. In Jiang Yuro's eyes appeared a gentle smile. Every step I took closer to you, I confirmed it was from my own choice. Jiang Yuro placed my hand on her heart's position, the heart thumping inside, as if telling me, all of this is not fake at all. I don't care if the world is fake or not, if the plot is preset or not. The only thing I care about is the current love for you. The two hugged each other tightly. Jiang Yuro smiled a victorious smile. So, boyfriend, can I invite you home to spend the remaining vacation with me? Jiang Yuro winked at me. After receiving my agreement, she happily laughed. Su Wanyi woke up on the hospital bed. Beside her was Wang Haoran with a gloomy face. Wang Haoran, why are you? Wanyi, don't you call me Haoran anymore? Wang Haoran with a gloomy face looked at Su Wanyi lying on the hospital bed. Su Wanyi didn't know how to explain. Had to turn her face away and not look at him anymore. Wang Haoran, you go. I will transfer 30 billion to your bank card. Wang Haoran coldly laughed. In the past, you gave Shen Siyuan 30 billion to make him leave you. Now you give me 30 billion to make me leave you. Wang Haoran's laughter in the quiet hospital room was especially piercing. Could it be that our President Su, besides money, has nothing else? Su Wanyi frowned. Wang Haoran, it's my fault towards you. Forcing won't be sweet. I can't avoid facing my heart. Su Wanyi, you really make people laugh. Unknown since when, in Wang Haoran's hand suddenly appeared a sharp object. The surface reflected Su Wanyi's pale face. The knife tip at lightning speed pressed against Su Wanyi's neck. Su Wanyi, I ask you one last time. What did you come here for? Su Wanyi frowned. To apologize to Siyuan. The cold blade gently rubbed against her neck. Why leave me to find Shen Siyuan? Silent for a moment, Su Wanyi replied, because I suddenly discovered I don't love you. The one I love forever is Shen Siyuan. The blade cut a bloody wound on Su Wanyi's neck. Su Wanyi, why don't you obediently return to my side? The system has told me everything. If you return to my side, I will continue to take care of you as before. We forget everything. Continue living together as before. Isn't that good? You know about the system's existence? Su Wanyi was shocked. Wang Haoran's eyes full of coldness. The system said you were originally my female lead. We will be together forever. Become the happiest couple in this novel. But you broke your word. You betrayed our promise. Abandoned me for a supporting role. In Wang Haoran's eyes accumulated hatred. The knife tip slashed into Su Wanyi's neck. Su Wanyi clamped tightly on Wang Haoran's wrist, threw him hard to the floor. The knife fell to the floor, making a sound. Wang Haoran, are you crazy? Su Wanyi angrily. Her hand tightly covered the wound on her neck. Large drops of blood flowed through her fingers. Wang Haoran sat on the floor laughing loudly. Su Wanyi, before, Shen Siyuan was injured in the artery. I don't know if now you are as lucky as him can be saved. Su Wanyi hurriedly pressed the bedside call button. Su Wanyi, do you know before the system left what I requested from it? Looking at Su Wanyi's terrified face, Wang Haoran smiled satisfied. I requested 30 minutes. I told the system to isolate this hospital room from all contact with the outside world. 30 minutes. Looking at Wang Haoran's mad face, Su Wanyi terrifiedly backed away. Wang Haoran, I didn't know you were such a person. Su Wanyi, what right do you have to say that about me? You could completely choose not to love me. Go love Shen Siyuan, or completely follow the plot track. You yourself made me stay with you, forced Shen Siyuan away, then said you love Shen Siyuan, then abandoned me. Fresh blood from the finger gaps not ceasing to ooze out. Su Wanyi's consciousness became more and more blurred. Su Wanyi, I want you to die in front of me. Wang Haoran showed a pale smile. I want you to feel Shen Siyuan's pain, along with my pain. A woman like you, fickle, betraying love, does not deserve a good ending, even less deserving of this female lead position. In front, Wang Haoran's face becoming more and more blurry. Su Wanyi fell to the ground. Wang Haoran picked up the sharp knife that fell on the ground, stepped on Su Wanyi. It hurts. Su Wanyi's thin lips moved slightly. Old memories slowly unfolded before her eyes. Childhood Shen Siyuan. Teenage Shen Siyuan. Standing in front of her saying something. She wanted to hear clearly what they said. Chased after them, but no matter what, couldn't catch up. She seemed to be tripped by something. Fell to the ground. The Shen Siyuan from the previous life tortured to death by her, lying on the ground, body still warm. He suddenly opened his eyes, slowly stood up, his pale skin falling rustling with the movement, cloudy white eyes. Shen Siyuan stomped hard on her. in his hand unknown since when, holding a sharp knife. Su Wanyi, I no longer love you. I hate you. The ghost of Shen Siyuan gradually overlapped with the image of Wang Haoran in front of her. They held knives in their hands. Without hesitation stabbed into Su Wanyi, lying on the ground. Following Wang Haoran's hateful scream, he personally ended Su Wanyi's life. Wang Haoran fell into the pool of blood, trembling, committed suicide. He looked at the countdown clock on the wall. Su Wanyi, I no longer want to love you. Wang Haoran raised his head, tears rolling down his face. He once dreamed a dream. In that dream, he was Wang Haoran, the poor but resilient intern. In that dream, he didn't meet Su Wanyi. He relied on his own talent and sweat, received appreciation from leaders, promoted step by step. Finally, became the youngest male CEO in the company's history. After that, he met his lover, had a happy and complete family. Surrounded by descendants, he lived a full life and closed his eyes. Gratefully closed his eyes. He slowly fell to the ground. Consciousness gradually dissipated. Wang Haoran murmured, "Goodbye, Su Wanyi. I also want to go live my own life." On the other hand, Jiang Yuru and I returned to Paris. The two stood in front of a magnificent villa. The villa's door slowly opened. An elegant woman stepped out. Mother Jiang smiled and took my hand. Finally meet Siyuan. The whole family is curious about the guy that Yuro always mentions. Today finally met. Now I just met Siyuan. I can't help but like you. Already. Quickly come in. Mother Jiang happily invited me in. Oh no, the food is still in the pot. Mother Jiang smiled, suddenly slapped her forehead, hurriedly left. A Bernese mountain dog heard the sound and ran over, excitedly circled around me. Then it obediently lay down in front of me, placed its large paw on my shoe tip. Dowdo suddenly affectionately pounced into my arms. The weight of an adult dog? Really not something I could hold steady. I was knocked to the ground by Dowdo. Dowdo. Jiang Yuro saw this, quickly pulled Dowdo away. Unexpectedly, I, who was holding Dowdo, shed tears. Man, it's been too long since I felt the warmth of a dog. Couldn't help but think of Man. Dowdo saw me shed tears, anxiously circled around, thinking it had hurt me. I continuously comforted. Dowdo then stopped, used its tongue to lick away the tears on my face. I laughed and begged for mercy continuously. Jiang Yuro helped me up, smiled helplessly. I don't know if Siyuan can get used to my home. Hearing this, I smiled. I really like your home. Very warm, very lively. Father Jiang got off work early and hurried back. As soon as he opened the door, he enthusiastically hugged me. He's a tall, handsome French man, blue eyes exactly like Jiang Yuro. Dinner is almost ready. Why hasn't Yutong come back yet? Mother Jiang placed the dishes on the table, looked at the clock in the house. Yutong is Yura's sister. She is a sculptor. Recently opened a sculpture exhibition in Paris. Might be a bit busy. Jiang Yuro guiltily looked at me. Fingertips rubbed my fingertips. Just finished speaking. A young girl hurriedly rushed into the dining room. When her gaze swept over me, eyes lit up. So you are my brother-in-law. Really handsome. Before I could react, Jiang Yuro gently slapped Jiang Yutong's hand. Sister, don't scare my boyfriend. Okay? Jiang Yutong quickly put hands on hips, pointed at Jiang Yuro's forehead. It's you who don't affect the feelings between sister and brother-in-law, okay? Looking at the noisy family in front of me, my heart seemed to have been filled. Mother Jiang, afraid I wasn't used to French food, especially made a table full of Chinese dishes. Father Jiang ate the Chinese food made by Mother Jiang herself, excitedly said, Siyuan, lucky you came. It's been a long time since I ate Chinese food made by Xiao Yu herself. Really miss it. Jiang Yutong also echoed beside. I also haven't eaten Chinese food for a long time. Jiang Yuro beside smiled at me. Is everyone exaggerating too much? I shook my head repeatedly. Perhaps this is the family image in my heart. The whole family happily enjoyed dinner. After dinner, Jiang Yutong turned on the TV in the living room. Yesterday, 2 bodies, 1 male, 1 female, were discovered in room 1506 of Paris Public Hospital. According to Paris police, preliminary forensic determination. The murder weapon is the sharp knife found at the scene. Jiang Yutong turned off the TV muttering, recently Paris security really makes people worry. What's wrong? Jiang Yuro held my hand and walked over, asked Jiang Yutong, who had a bad expression. Jiang Yutong sighed. Nothing. In Paris Public Hospital, discovered 2 Chinese bodies, and they are CEOs of a Caller, large domestic enterprise. Seems surname Su. I frowned. Surname Su. Chinese people? Jiang Yuro worriedly looked at me. Siyuan, is it someone you know? I shook my head. Anyway, not anyone important. After that, Jiang Yuro led me to her bedroom. Soft light diffused in the room, creating a warm and private atmosphere. She turned around, eyes carrying a bit of expectation and anxiety, as if waiting for me to take that decisive step. Step closer, the distance between us getting narrower until I could feel her breath, gently brushing my cheek. I gently raised my hand, brushed a strand of hair on her cheek, then lowered my head, gently kissed her lips. Jiang Yuro passionately responded to me, her hands gently wrapped around my neck. The whole world seemed to only have us 2. In this warm space, we confessed our feelings to each other. I love you, she whispered, voice carrying firmness and gentleness. I love you too, I replied, heart full of happiness and contentment. 2 hours later, Jiang Yuro leaned in my arms. Beside my ear hummed a French love song. Brilliant roses blooming, little nightingales singing. I stroll with my lover under the moonlight, never separate again. In this gentle night, our souls connect tightly. I know from now on, no matter how time passes, Jiang Yuro and I will be forever happy.